Hola, hola amigos, welcome to my channel, subscribe to my channel, like to this video and let's start.
Once upon a time, there arose 5 great villages from the abyss of the Warring States era. Konoha, Suna, Iwa, Hiri, and Kumo. Each village had its fair share of august inhabitants, evil villains, ordinary people going about their lives, and once in a blue moon, some truly insane personalities who turn everything upside down. And in the villages of Konoha and Kumo, there were 2 such insane personalities, extremely similar despite the barriers of time, space, and age. If their respective village, not mortal enemies, they would have probably met far sooner and become friends much earlier than they did. But well, they did meet eventually, when the boy from Konoha was 16 and the man from Kumo was 35. They both dreamed the same dream: to save people like themselves, Jinchuriki, from the evil designs of the Akatsuki. And even more crucially, they were both determined to make the dream a reality, and would do so at all costs. It was just that half of the things they did in pursuit of that dream infuriated everyone from Tsunade to Zetsu, unleashed an international manhunt, and drove their friends, family, and enemies to the depths of homicidal rage. Naruto and Killer Bee weren't exactly the sharpest kunai in the pouch, after all. In the thrall of the infinite Tsukuyomi, that was what Killer Bee dreamed of, with a smile on his whiskered face. Naruto sighed as he gulped down his final bowl of ramen for the night. It sure was draining to be on such a high-stakes mission. You really have grown, haven't you, Naruto? Getting sent to rescue the Kazekage of all people, said old man Tsuki jovially. What do you think, Ayame? His daughter paused in the motion of chopping up some black pepper. Oh. Yeah, she winked at their #1 customer. Naruto-kun, I remember when to be a kid and you said that when you'd become Hokage, you would make ramen the official food of Konoha. And now look at you, all grown up. Father and daughter laughed uproariously. Looks like the Kazekage owes our future Hokage a big favor, Tsuki said, beaming. Oh, bring him over here when he comes to visit Konoha, Ayame requested, half jokingly, half seriously. If 2 cages endorse our little Ichiraku ramen, we'll become millionaires. Naruto wondered what Gaara's favorite food might be, and if he would enjoy eating at Ichiraku. Then he shook his head vigorously. Of course Gaara would like Ichiraku. Didn't like Ichiraku. Ramen was the food of the gods and the future Hokage. Maybe the next time Gaara was in Konoha, he could treat the newly minted Kazekage some free ramen. If anyone deserved free ramen, it was Gaara. Gaara deserved to get free ramen for the rest of his life. He'd suffered so much, yet he'd remained strong and brave, and he become Kazekage and won the love and respect of his villagers. A long way from the lonely Jinchuriki who used to cry himself to sleep, having no cuts and bruises on his skin, but only a dreadful ache in his heart. You got it, Naruto said with determination. Ramen with Gaara it was. When he comes around here, you'll get yourself a new customer. With that, Naruto paid up and waved goodbye to Tsuki and Ayame. He whistled a jaunty tune as he made his way home, trying to feign cheerfulness. The mission to rescue Gaara had upset him a lot more than he was willing to let on. But try as he might, he just couldn't get to sleep that night. A slew of nightmarish images flooded his mind, as though waiting for nighttime to begin their romp through high thoughts. A monster looking out at him through beady black eyes, more tanuki than human. The word, love, carved into his forehead, but only bleak emptiness in his heart. I'm just a reminder of the past that the villagers would like to erase. You fight for others, said the half-human, half-tanuki Gaara, with a bark-like laugh. Just love only yourself and it'll be enough. But Haku said that it's when you fight for something precious to you that you truly become strong. Naruto remembered. Then the scene shifted and Gamabunta was countering Shukaku's air bullets with his own water bullets. The forest was drenched in a hurricane. In the end, Gaara was defeated with nothing more than a simple head slam and a tiny ounce of Kyuubi chakra. That day, Gaara finally found something to fill the void in his heart. The word etched on his forehead became more than just a word. And he became Kazekage, but the world faded into the dark. The ghastly image of Deidara sitting on Gaara's cold, stiff corpse materialized in his mind. Why? He wanted to yell. His vision was tinted crimson. Gaara had tried so hard. He'd overcome every obstacle and now, this. Why couldn't Jinchuriki like them ever be happy? Why were they always hunted down and treated like monsters? Couldn't he do anything about it? Chio Ba-chan said that there were other Jinchuriki out there. Were they all going to end up the same way as Gaara? Would some Akatsuki freak drain the life out of them and desecrate their corpses? He didn't want anyone to suffer the way Gaara had suffered, ever again. Killer Bee frowned as he stared at his book of rhymes. Rhymes. What would rhyme with rhyme? Slime. Lime. He sighed. Some days were better than others, and this day was worse than others. Not a single good freaking rhyme all day. Something was messing with his brain wave. Thank goodness for that something, Gyuki muttered. Now I can finally take a nap without listening to your hideous rap. That's it. 8-0. Killer Bee roared. Nap and rap. Those rhyme. You've sure got some shine, fool. Oh my god. What is wrong with you, Bee? Killer Bee hastily jotted down the unintentional rhyme as the door to the Raikage's office slammed shut in the distance. Gyuki noted the excited gait of the new arrivals and perked up his ears. Killer Bee was, of course, totally oblivious. B. No response. Now his idiot human was polishing his sunglasses. B. Damn it. Was he just going to ignore Gyuki until he took drastic measures? B. Listen up, you idiot. The fool finally looked up. Now, don't get in a huff. I heard you the first time. What's the rush? He rapped. Didn't you notice? The spies who were sent to Suna have returned. They're discussing something big. Killer Bee shrugged. What's it got to do with me? It's something to do with their Jinchuriki. Gyuki said, straining his ears. Go a bit closer to the door and listen to what they're saying. Sure enough, as Killer Bee approached the door, little snatches of the overheard conversation confirmed it. Something big had happened. Quote. K's cage is no longer a Jinchuriki, Raikage-sama. Rescued by another Jinchuriki. From Konoha, Raikage-sama. Have gone back to their own villages. The Biju and his human stared at each other for a long time in their shared mind space. Killer Bee discreetly backed away from the door. Konoha has a Jinchuriki? He asked. For once, not rapping. The Ox Demon nodded. Yeah, I think Konoha has the Kyubi. And as for Suna, what did they mean? The K's cage isn't a Jinchuriki anymore. Did something happen to Shukaku? Ikibi. Annoying little San Tanuki. We don't talk, Gyuki clarified. Before B could question the Hachibi further, the door burst open and the two spies, X and Y, came rushing out. They stopped and sank into low bows once they saw B casually leaning against the wall. B-sama, they both intoned. Killer Bee grinned and slapped them on the back so hard that the crack of their vertebrae could be heard echoing across the mountains. Poor X and Y almost collapsed from S. No need to be so formal, you guys. He said. I hope you got the prize. Imagine my surprise, to see you here now and not at sunrise. He beamed, clearly expecting applause for his hideous rhymes, and deflating when none came his way. X looked like his ears were bleeding. Y just looked resigned. Anyway, B said, dropping the rhymes. What happened with Konoha and Suna? X and Y exchanged looks. I don't think we're supposed to tell you, B-sama. Raikage-sama might get angry. X said cautiously. Hey, what does it matter, X? Said Y casually. He's the Raikage's brother. I think it's fine. Y scratched his blonde hair. Well, it seems as though the Jinchuriki of Konoha was involved in some kind of mission to rescue the K's cage from some group called ACAT, who appear to be hunting Jinchuriki. And B pressed. Now this was shaping up to be interesting. A Jinchuriki hunting criminal group. X cleared his throat. He succeeded, but the K's cage isn't a Jinchuriki anymore for some reason. And anyway, that's all we know, B-sama. Gotcha. B raised his fist expectantly, and was rewarded with 2 fist bumps. Well, we have to go now, B-sama, said Y. Later, B-sama, said X. Well, 8-0, said B, watching the two Chunin run off. The gears in B's brain were turning and alarm bells were going off in Gyuki's head. Isn't that funny? Jinchuriki. Jinchuriki. From some group called Akatsuki. B. Gyuki shot B a reproachful look. I know what you're thinking, but the Raikage will not be happy if you. It's true. Jinchuriki need to help Jinchuriki. It's a scary world and we have to be bold. B. Don't you dare. Don't resign yourself to fate. That's how you'll get a fair shake. Damn it. To Konoha we go. I don't get paid enough for this, the Hachibi sighed. Well, it could be. Fun, I guess. At any rate, we do need a vacation. And thus, idiot number 1 sped off towards Konoha in the dead of night, bypassing all of the security guards' chakra suppression. What a wonderful, wonderful ability, in Gyuki's opinion. He left without even leaving a note or message in his excitement at having cooked up such a hair-brained scheme. The exact moment when idiot number 2 fell asleep was when idiot number 1 finally reached Konoha. Again, bypassing all of the security guards and the intruder alert system set up by the village, chakra suppression. What a wonderful, wonderful ability, in Gyuki's opinion. Yo, 8-0, said B. Where might 9-0 be? Look for any human who seems to have 2 chakras. Especially massive amounts of crimson red chakra. Just like Yugito and me. That's right, B. Now, oh, there he is. Exclaimed Gyuki. In that apartment over on that side of the village. Killer B set off at breakneck speed, reaching Naruto's house in record time and hammering on the window without a care in the world. Clatter. Clatter. Slam. Naruto blearily opened his eyes. Who the hell would call him at this hour at night, and right when he'd gone to sleep? Sakura-chan and Kakashi-sensei. Incredibly unlikely. Everyone was tired from the mission and they didn't have any team appointments tomorrow. Slam. Okay. Okay, I'm coming. He called out irritably, grumbling under his breath. He slowly shuffled into the kitchen, fumbling for the light. Then he stopped and stared. And stared. And stared. There was some random guy hanging out in front of his kitchen window at, he squinted at the clock, 3:14 a.m. Said guy was wearing a Kumogakure standard shinobi uniform. How the hell did he get into the village? A pair of sunglasses, a tattoo with the character for iron on his, and a happy, tacky smile on his mustachioed face. He also seemed to be sprouting octopus tentacles out of his back. Naruto did what any normal and abnormal shinobi would have done in his situation. He snatched up a stray knife from the kitchen table, hurled it at the bearded, tentacle interloper, and yelled so loudly that he would have woken up everyone in town. In a flash, the octopus man was beside him, clapping a hand over Naruto's mouth. Shish, Octopops whispered. Don't blow our cover, it'll be a bummer. Naruto wrenched the offending hand away from his mouth and glared ferociously at the strange man. Who are you and why did you break into my house in the middle of night? I'm a Jinchuriki, the Hachibi's my man, we do what we can. Said Octopops. Jinchuriki need to help Jinchuriki no matter the hour, so don't be so sour. Naruto just stared at Killer B like he dropped in from the acorn factory. What? He asked. Could you repeat that? The name's Killer B. I'm a Jinchuriki. I don't mean to be a bother, but the Raikage's my brother. B said, with a magnetic smile. Naruto counted from 1 to 10, then pinched himself. The smiling tentacled man didn't disappear. At least he seemed friendly. So he wasn't a figment of Naruto's imagination, then. So. Let me get this straight, Naruto said. You are the Hachibi Jinchuriki, Killer B, and you're the Raikage's brother. Yo. B confirmed, extending his hand. Give me a fist bump. Naruto thought about it for a moment, then shrugged. What the hell, he seemed okay. There were weirder things in life, like people who hated ramen. I'm Uzumaki Naruto, the future Hokage, ya know. He proclaimed in way of introduction. Naruto and Killer B bumped fists for the first time ever. Killer B grinned. And Naruto couldn't help but grin back. It was 4:36 a.m. and Naruto and Killer B were still chatting amiably on the couch. Plans had to be made, after all. So, Octopops, you're saying that we need to pick up and save the other Jinchuriki before the Akatsuki can get their grubby hands on them first. That's right. Oh. Ado and I were just discussing the best course of action so that our plan can gain some traction, said B proudly. Naruto was quiet for a moment. How odd it was that as soon as he thought up the plan in his dreams, some Jinchuriki from Kumogakure would show up with the same id. A Jinchuriki who was friends with his own Biju, to boot. That's true and all, but my friends and Ba-chan will get worried if I just run off on my own without telling them, ya know, Naruto. Said. Killer B abruptly stopped smiling. Oh. Oh no, he muttered. Huh, what's the matter? Asked Naruto. I didn't leave a note. Big bro is gonna have a stroke. A thin trickle of sweat made its way down B's face. It wasn't because of the weather. On the other hand, we do need to leave immediately, cause who knows how many Jinchuriki they'll capture if we don't start now, Naruto muttered, his chin in his hand. Don't want something like what happened to Gaara happen again. Then Naruto's face suddenly cleared. The effect was as astonishing as the sun peeking through a curtain of gray clouds. I get it, Naruto said, jumping up and pumping a fist in the air. We'll just leave a note here, explain what we're doing, and ask them not to worry. It'll be perfect. Then Killer B's face also cleared up. Naruto, I see you're very smart. Go pack up your things now and then we can start. Gyuki was silent within Killer B's mind. It seems like this kid is another fool. Two fools to deal with now. He sighed. Naruto hurried back into his room, eager to pack up his clothes, ninja tools, ramen, ninja tools, and more ramen. And of course, write his note. Gyuki watched the sight in bemusement. Naruto seemed to have packed about 100 cups of ramen into one poor storage scroll. He is a fool. How does the Kyuubi manage this kid? Though he directed the question to the fox whom he could clearly discern within Naruto, there was no response. The fox is playing possum again. Okay, Naruto said, giving B a thumbs up and a big smile. Let's go, Octopops. He tacked the note to his fridge and the two Jinchuriki flew off into the night. Chakra suppression, what a wonderful, wonderful thing. The fact that Killer B had Naruto Clo. Them both in the same chakra helped matters greatly. Damn it. Freaking damn it. It wasn't even 10 in the morning yet and Tsunade was already on sake bottle 3. Freaking Naruto and his stupid freaking nonsense this early in the day. Shizune. She barked. Next to her, the poor lady Shizune stood ramrod straight. Why yes, Tsunade-sama. Her apprentice/paperwork handler squeaked. Get Team 8 actually. Go get all of Naruto's classmates and Team Guy. And Azumo and Katetsu, Tsunade said. She rubbed her temples tiredly. A migraine was already to develop in the base of her skull. Freaking Naruto. Shizune scurried off to summon said teams while Sakura and Kakashi both stared at Tsunade nervously. Did you have any prior knowledge of this? Tsunade asked for the 10th time. Both of them shook their heads vigorously, again for the 10th time. That little punk. Of all the times to go missing Nin on the village, he picked now. Tsunade was going to have his head on a pike when she finally got hold of him, and she definitely would. Shizune thankfully took no time at all in locating Naruto's peers. 11 people filed into the room, staring at Tsunade's ruddy cheeks and thunderous expression with an odd blend of puzzlement, indifference, and spine-chilling fear. Tsunade-sama, they all greeted respectfully. Good morning, she said blackly. I have called you all here regarding Naruto's whereabouts. Naruto's whereabouts? Asked Kiba, completely oblivious to Kakashi-sensei shaking his head in alarm. He's back in the village. His training with Jiraiya-sama is over. Tsunade silenced him, mercifully, with a single glance. Then she beckoned towards Neji of all people and handed him a slip of paper. Read it out loud, Neji, nice and clear, said Tsunade. Why is Neji allowed the opportunity to read the paper? Shino complained. Is it because he is a Junin? Just be quiet, Sakura hissed. Neji stared at the paper for several excruciating seconds, then began to read out loud in a blank, deadpan voice. Yo, everyone. I know this is kinda sudden and all, but I need to leave the village for a few months. Some random Jinchuriki came here and we decided that we need to everyone else so that no one ends up like Gaara. But don't worry about us, Octopops is a really cool guy and he isn't a danger to the village or anything. To Kakashi-sensei. Please water my plants while I'm gone. To Ichiraku. I owe you 3,000 ryo. I'll pay you when I'm back. To Sakura-chan. Please tell Ba-chan not to get mad. Naruto smiley face. There was a long, long silence. You forgot something, Neji, said Tsunade. Next to his name. Oh. Neji blinked at the note. Smiley face. The silence resumed. Well, this was awkward. It looked like Shikamaru, Choji, Hinata, Azumo, and Kotetsu wanted to laugh, but were deathly afraid of doing so. Everyone else had a Naruto, W. The hell did you do? Expression. And this note is why. Tsunade took a swig from her bottle. I'm sending Team 8, Team 10, and Team Guy on a mission. She glared at a pale Azumo and Kotetsu. As foe. 2. We'll be having a talk about how Naruto and this unknown person slipped through our intruder alert system. Tsunade-sama. To clarify, said Shino. Naruto ran away with someone called Octopops to save Jinchuriki, and wants Kakashi-sensei to water his plants while he's gone. Therefore we are tasked with finding him. Tsunade finished off sake bottle 3 with a final gulp. Correct. Shizune, please brief these teams on everything before they set off. She rubbed her temples again. Freaking Naruto. Unbeknownst to the Konoha ninja, the exact same scene was playing out in the Raikage Tower, except that instead of binge drinking, the Raikage had decided to punch some holes in a few walls as a stress reliever. Why? The Raikage roared. Are you positive that you were the last people to see B? Why yes. Raikage-sama, poor X squeaked, his back ramrod straight. A Shizune-like posture, even though they'd never met. The Raikage turned to his beleaguered secretary. Mabui. Did you find any trace of B? Ransom note. Blood. Anything broken? No. Raikage-sama, Mabui said, cool as a cucumber. B-sama appears to have vanished into thin air. The Raikage smashed open the window, clearly not content with tormenting the poor walls. See. Darui. He bellowed. Yes. Raikage-sama, the two bodyguards intoned. You two take Karui and Omoi with you. Form a search party now. They silently bowed and took off. The breeze wafted in from the broken window and pushed a few papers on the Raikage's desk onto the floor. Mabui winced. The walls and window were going to take a handsome sum of money to repair. Why did Raikage-sama always binge destroy whenever he got upset? She, on the other hand, had full confidence in B. He was the strongest ninja in the village. There were very, very few people in the world who could even land a scratch on. Woe betide anybody who would try to harm him in any way. It wouldn't end well, for their ears or for the rest of their body. And as the Kumo search party set out to find the village's runaway Jinchuriki, it seemed as though C and Darui were of the same mind as Mabui. Darui asked C as they sped out of the village and into the countryside proper. How much money would you bet that B-san is just on a secret vacation or something? I'd bet my whole salary, Darui said. It's really dull that we're asked to go on a wild goose chase to find him, though. Don't say that, you guys, yelled Omoi. What if B-sama was kidnapped by a gang of wild ninja monkeys? Or maybe a gang of wild ninja donkeys? Or maybe he fell into and drowned. What is wrong with you, Omoi? Karui yelled right back. B-sama knows how to swim. And there is no such thing as ninja donkeys. But there are ninja monkeys. C and Darui exchanged tired looks. Babysitting B's teen students was going to take up half the mission time, wasn't it? In Konoha, chaos still reigned supreme as the three teams prepared to search for their village's runaway Jinchuriki. Shizune had just come back to the Hokage's office with an armful of scrolls from the library. Here, Shikamaru-kun. Copies of the scrolls from the first and second Hokage's collection. This has all the extant information on Jinchuriki. Read it, please, and then put good use in finding Naruto-kun. Choji raised his hand. Shizune-san, what's a Jinchuriki? Tsunade sighed. I forgot that Sarutobi-sensei didn't want to let the village youngsters know. She got up from her desk and started pacing around the office. I trust you're aware that the Kyuubi attacked this village 16 years ago and was defeated by the Yondaime. Yes, said Ino, clearly unsure of the direction in which the conversation was heading. Well, the Yondaime won, by sealing the Kyuubi into Naruto's stomach. Tsunade faced the window, arms clasped behind her back. That's what a Jinchuriki is. A human. A vessel for a Biju. And there are 9 such Biju, just like the Kyuubi. Which means there are 9 possible Jinchuriki. A shell-shocked silence pervaded the room. Only Team Guy seemed unsurprised, having just come back from the Jinchuriki rescue mission. And Gaara used to be a Jinchuriki until the Akatsuki took the Biju out and killed him. He was only brought back to life because of Chiyo-sama and Naruto. Tenten Finis. That's horrible, Hinata said firmly. If Naruto-kun wants to rescue the other Jinchuriki from the Akatsuki, isn't that a noble thing? It may well be noble, but it's stupid. And dangerous, said Tsunade. Firstly, we don't even know who all the Akatsuki are. Secondly, if Naruto gets kidnapped by them, disaster. Thirdly, the fool will start a war if he roams around the world collecting Jinchuriki. Jinchuriki belong to their respective hidden villages, and if a Konoha ninja tree grab them and run, the other cage will not be pleased. And fourthly, leaving the village without authorization is illegal. I know he doesn't mean any harm, but the council Homura and Kaharu will take it the wrong way. They'll want to declare Naruto a missing nin. Tsunade avoided thinking about what Danzo would do if he found out. She would cross that bridge when she came to it. Please be discreet when looking for him, Shizune said. Here, if you run across any bystander who may have seen him, show them this picture and ask for confirmation. She passed a photo to Ino without looking at it, preoccupied with sorting out the scroll collection for Shikamaru. Ino's forehead veins started bulging as she stared at the picture. Shizune-san. Yes. What the hell? We can't show people this. She held up the picture. It was Naruto's ninja registration photo. He was 12. It was not current. And most importantly, his face was painted with white and red makeup. He was striking a dramatic pose. Like he was an actor in a play. How was it even allowed to become official picture? Shizune finally glanced at the photo for the first time and stared in horror. Tsunade-sama. Poor Shizune was shaking like a leaf. We don't have any other. No worries, said Kakashi soothingly. I filled out the new paperwork for Team Kakashi last week. I have a better photo. He passed Ino a recent photo of the 16-year-old Naruto, sporting a mane of spiky blonde hair, a thumbs up, and a smile, face thankfully free of any makeup. Shizune sighed in relief. Hinata leaned over Ino's shoulder to take a peek. Her cheeks turned rosy pink. He was cute. Oh, yeah, Tsunade-sama, how did you even find about this so soon? Asked Kiba. I mean, Team 7 didn't have any missions today, did they? So Naruto not being seen in wouldn't have scared anyone, right? Wouldn't you all have just thought he was sleeping in or something? I went to Naruto's house to force feed him his daily nutritional meal intake, Kakashi said. Then daily nutritional meal intake. Kakashi's eyes crinkled as he smiled. Now, Kiba, why do you think Naruto hasn't died yet from eating too much ramen? Tenten's jaw was hanging open slackly. Neji's eyes were twitching. And Kakashi just kept smiling. I found this note stuck to his fridge and then I gave it to Tsunade-sama. And you all know the rest now. He swept his hands expansively. Right. Sakura and Kakashi, I want you two to go to Suna, said Tsunade in a brisk voice. The cage needs to know about this in case Naruto goes there, and do rec. For any help he can give. She clapped her hands. Well, the briefing is complete. I'm entrusting you all with this task because you're his friends and you know him better. If anyone can find Naruto, it will be you. Now good luck. Before they left, Shikamaru went to Ichiraku and purchased a secret map of all the ramen shops throughout the 5 great nations. Naruto was bound to get hungry over course of his little adventure. And wherever ramen went, Naruto went. That was an ironclad rule. Kakashi took Naruto's plants with him. They needed to be watered, after all. And so, the Konoha search party set off to find their runaway Jinchuriki. Itachi-san, said a man who bore an uncanny resemblance to a shark. Would you mind telling me which Jinchuriki we're supposed to be hunting now? I am. Not fully of what transpired in the previous meeting. Toby rushed at you, yelling, Kisame-senpai. And wrapped you in a bone-crushing hug. You passed out from the pain and the leader told me to keep you updated when yo finally woke up, said Itachi in a monotonous voice. Kisame blushed. It looked very odd on his blue visage. Unlike most of the Akatsuki, he was actually fond of Toby, but bone-crushing hugs. Really? To answer your question, we're searching for the Jinchuriki of the Yonbi. His name is Roshi, and he lives only 3 kilometers away. Oh. Kisame smiled. Used your Sharingan Genjutsu to make some country bumpkin talk, eh, Itachi-san? Itachi didn't answer. They had a Jinchuriki to capture. Meanwhile, 2 runaway Jinchuriki had already crossed the borders into the land of Earth, looking for a third. Octopops, who should we find first? The Gobi Jinchuriki. The Rokubi Jinchuriki? Asked Naruto. Naruto, spoke Yuki. We are now in the land of Earth. Naruto almost fell off his tree branch in shock. In his mind space was an ox demon with 8 tentacles and purplish skin. Oh, it's you, Hachibi. Hi. The name's Gyuki. Right. Nice to meet ya, Gyuki. Yeah. Anyway, this country is the home of Iwagakure. They have 2 Jinchuriki, not 1. Huh? Asked Naruto. But Konoha and Suna only have 1, ya know. I'll tell you why later. But Iwagakure has the Jinchuriki of both the Yonbi and Gobi, Hachibi explained. So you'll have your work cut out for you. I'd advise searching for humans who have 2 chakras within a 50-kilometer radius. It's a dead giveaway of a Jinchuriki. It's how B and I found you, as a matter of fact. Humans who have 2 chakras, within a 50-kilometer radius. Naruto frowned as he tried to zero in on any distant chakra. During their training, Ero Sennin had told him that he had great sensory ninja potential, better than any student ever trained, and they'd even practiced it a few times. But it wasn't something they'd really focused on. He wasn't an expert on it or anything. To his surprise, he picked up not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 massive chakra signatures a little over 10 kilometers away. His heart leapt into his throat. 80, Octopops, did you feel that? Yep. The 2 chorused. They picked up their pace. The chakra was emanating from a lonely field facing a cliff. Oh. My. God. Naruto stopped breathing for a moment. Black cloaks with red clouds. A field of lava. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto yelled. He sped towards Itachi and Kisame, fully formed Udama Rasengan in hand. Udama Rasengan. Naruto roared. Kisame turned around in shock, only for the massive chakra sphere to slam into his shoulder and send him spiraling face down into a brand new crater. The field was shaken with a tectonic plate shifting explosion. For a moment, the Udama Rasengan shone brighter than the sun. Deidara was right. Art was an explosion. And Naruto was quite artistic indeed. It was a testament to his own strength and stamina that Kisame didn't straight up die when he got hit with the Rasengan. The vast majority of shinobi would have bit the. But Kisame merely sustained a moderate shoulder injury, due to his sword, Samahata, catching part of the blast, and eating some of the chakra. He wasn't called the Biju. Without a tail for no reason. Kisame slowly staggered to his feet, looking around for the source of the blast. He didn't have to search too hard. Old man with the beard, don't worry. I, Uzumaki Naruto, future Hokage, am here to save you. Naruto bellowed, sprinting forwards and running directly into the field of La. Unfortunately, Naruto was wearing open-toed sandals. Shark guy. Get ready to die, yelled Killer Bee, holding his many swords in his arms, mouth, knees, and armpits. He too ran directly into the lava field, and he too was wearing open-toed sandals. There was perfect shocked silence for a good 30 seconds as Itachi, Kisame, and Roshi just stared at the 2 new arrivals. Perfect silence, except for the rustling of the tree leaves in the late afternoon breeze. Then Hachibi broke it. Naruto. Yeah. 8-0. The two foolish Jinchuriki asked. You guys are standing in lava. Quote. Oh. Naruto and B both stared at the ground. Molten red lava was trickling onto their shoes. Their open-toed shoes. Ouch. Hot, ya know. Naruto began a one-footed hop back to the edge of the lava field. B dropped all of his swords in his haste to get away. It's good to see you again, Naruto-kun, said Itachi, ever politely. May I ask whom your acquaintance is? The name's Killer B, I'm the Hachibi Jinchuriki. Here to save everyone, from you Akatsuki. Said B proudly. 3 rhymes in a row. Octopops, now isn't the time to be rapping at our enemies. Naruto snapped. We have to save. He turned to the red-headed, bearded man. What's your name Man. Roshi. He stared at Naruto and B in amazement. And you're a Jinchuriki, Kumo ninja. Did I hear that right? Hey, I'm a Jinchuriki too. Naruto protested. Don't let Octopops get all the attention, ya know. What? I see that you're just as much a comedian as ever, Naruto-kun, said Kisame, hefting Samahata in his hands and leering menacingly. But save your jokes for the underv. How foolish of you two to jump directly into a hunter's trap. In the real world, Itachi and Kisame easily defeated poor old Roshi, Jinchuriki of the Yonbi. He fought valiantly, but in the end, he was felled by Samahata's chakra absorb ability. Roshi was captured unconscious and brought to the Akatsuki lair, where his Biju, Son Goku, was extracted from him, killing him instantly. He was only brought back. Life as an Edo Tensei by Kabuto to fight against his fellow Jinchuriki, until he was, ironically, liberated by Itachi, the man who had assisted in his capture. In this dream world, things went slightly differently. Starting with, oh, my eyes. Is that Samahata, Kiri's top prize? Asked Killer B, noticing the giant sword for the first time. You have heard of my blade. Kisame stroked its purple scales lovingly. Samahata purred, bloated from its Naruto chakra meal. Yes, Samahata, the greatest of the Seve. Swords of the Mist. I'm sure it will find your chakra most delectable, Jinchuriki. Octopops, the sword eats our chakra. We have to be careful, Naruto warned. I've been up against these two before. Ya fool. Yeah, Itachi over there is my friend Sasuke's brother. He has the Sharingan and he killed his whole clan. He can send you to a Genjutsu nightmare world with just a glance. Indeed, Roshi said. The shark man is a piece of work too. You kids should have just stayed away. Ah, don't say that, Grandpa Roshi. Don't call me grandpa or old man. I'm still young. Roshi snapped. Shadow clone jutsu. Yelled Naruto, disregarding Roshi, forming another Udama Rasengan and charging towards the shark ninja. He tried to slam it into Kisame again. Samahata gobbled up the blast. If the sword had eyes, they would have rolled up in delight at the fox-flavored chakra. But instead, Samahata sighed and burped. Then it bloated to 3 times its normal size. You don't learn, do you, Naruto-kun? Kisami's smile showed off every single one of his jagged teeth. My sword, Samahata the shark skin, can absorb up to 7 tails of chakra. Your attacks won't work against me. 7 tails. I have 9 tails. Octopops has 8. And Grandpa Roshi has 4. Together we have 21 tails worth, but even just Octopops and I are more than enough. 17 tails. Naruto's mind flashed back to when Gai-sensei had made him and Lee participate in a youthful ramen eating contest, something about catching up on the rivalry score W. Kakashi-sensei. Bushy brows had tried, but his limit was 10 bowls. After that, there was a lot of vomit everywhere and old man Tuki was not happy. Could Samahata overeat? Octopops. Naruto beckoned Killer B closer. I have a plan to beat the shark guy. Yeah, what is it? Don't be shy. Naruto whispered something into B's ear. B nodded. Gyuki sighed in exasperation. Then they both straightened up and faced Kisame with terrifying smiles. Naruto was Konoha's #1 show-off noisy unpredictable ninja. He was also a huge prankster. B had those traits too. And combined, they had a massive amount of chakra, far more than what Samahata could handle. 2 Udama Rasengans and 3 Biju bombs later, Samahata was begging for mercy. The poor blade's skin was no longer purple, but a sickly shade of green, the same color as vomit. And speaking of vomit, Samahata, the shark skin, was puking its guts out to its heart's content. Every time one torrent of crimson red chakra was released. From its mouth, another torrent would emerge in its place. Samahata couldn't breathe. It was crying in pain. Samahata was suffering from a bad case of indigestion. Samahata, from that day on, was terrified of Jinchuriki. Itachi-san, help me. A scorched, harassed Kisame wailed in despair. Itachi simply watched impassively from the shadows. Everyone missed it, but he smiled, secretly proud of his renegade brother for having such an interesting friend. He was a double agent, after all. Kisame, let's leave, Itachi said flatly. We've been outmatched. Samahata screeched in agreement. What? But you haven't even used your Mangekyo. Let's go. We'll try again later. Itachi whisked the shark man and his sword away. Roshi was safe. That made a third runaway Jinchuriki. Meanwhile, not far away, the Konoha search party had also crossed into the land of Earth. It was nighttime, but day and night made absolutely no difference to Hinata and Neji. Hinata almost fell off her tree branch in shock, much like Naruto had earlier that day. Neji-ni-san, do you see that? She pointed to the east, 20 kilometers away. Yes, Hinata-sama, Neji said. What? What is that? Huh? Do you see something strange? Ino asked. It's. Hinata frowned. How to describe it? Some huge craters, a field of lava, and the remnants of Biju chakra, Neji elaborated, finally understanding what they were seeing. Actually, I've seen it before. During my match against Naruto in the Chunin exams. The search party reached the site within minutes. It was empty, but everyone was still gaping, slack-jawed, at the amount of destruction they saw. It was definitely Naruto. And there was definitely a fight. In those scrolls Shizune-san gave me, it was mentioned that the Yonbi has the incredibly rare power to produce lava, Shikamaru said as they gazed at the lava field. The Jinchuriki of the Yonbi will therefore have the power of lava release. And seeing as there's no Naruto-kun or any other Jinchuriki in sight, said Lee. That must mean they may have run away together. Tsunade-sama said that Naruto will start a war if he keeps doing this. Ino muttered tiredly. An annoyed tick was bursting at her temple. An annoyed tick was also bursting at Neji's temple, as a matter of fact. Search for him discreetly, Shizune had said. That would be tough, if he kept leaving craters and mass destruction everywhere. He did not seem to know what discreetna was. Freaking Naruto. A stoic Itachi dragged a sobbing Samahata and a depressed and enraged Kisame back into the Akatsuki's secret lair. Deidara just stared at the odd sight. What happened to you, Why don't you have the Yonbi Jinchuriki? They made Samahata puke. My blade will have indigestion for days. Those two made a mockery out of me. Kisame snarled, uncharacteristic tears of rage glinting. Piscine eyes. Samahata screeched. Pain just glowered at Itachi, silently willing him to explain. We were just on the verge of defeating the Yonbi Jinchuriki, leader, Itachi explained. But Uzumaki Naruto and Killer B jumped in to defend him. Killer B? Asked Conan. Who is that? Samahata wailed in horror on hearing the dreaded Jinchuriki names. The Hachibi Jinchuriki, said Itachi, talking over the sword. He and Naruto-kun formulated a very interesting plan to defeat Samahata. We were forced to retreat. Very well, Pain said impassively. But be warned that this will not be tolerated again. He turned to two shadowy figures. Hidan. Kakuzu. Be prepared for. Pain was cut off by a swirly masked man materializing out of nowhere. Kisame senpai. Samahata senpai. Are you two okay? You seem hurt. No, Toby, wait. Thanks for the food. Naruto and Killer B began wolfing down the bowls of Akazuke in front of them, trying to outdo each other in their gusto for Roshi's cooking. Outside, The sky had finally brightened in happiness. The sun had returned. Tea on rice. It's really nice, B mumbled through a mouthful of the meal. Yeah. Gulp. Gulp. It's not ramen, but it's okay, Grandpa Roshi, Naruto said through a stuffed mouth. Don't call me Grandpa, kid, scolded Roshi, although there was no bite in his voice. And don't talk with your mouth full. Gulp. Gulp. Slurp. Slurp. The three Jinchuriki were in Roshi's tiny little house in the countryside of Earth. There were almost no people around in the lonely and desolate area. The house was home. Warm. Though. Totally made of wood, it had a crackling fireplace and it insulated them from the weather outside. For Roshi, that was more than enough. Oh. That's right, Grandpa, Naruto said, finally polishing off the meal and sighing loudly, not unlike Samahata. Why are you out here, anyway? Shouldn't you be in Iwa? That's right, said B. For an Iwa Jinchuriki to be so far away from his home in stone, don't you feel so alone? Roshi turned to Naruto. Why does he always speak in rhymes? Naruto shrugged. You get used to it after a while. He held up his bowl. Can I have seconds, Grandpa Roshi? I see you won't stop calling me that. Roshi sighed in resignation, but refilled Naruto's bowl with rice and poured green tea over it anyway. Thanks, Gramps. But to tell you the truth, Roshi turned to face Naruto and B. I haven't been in Iowa for years. I left ages ago, actually. Ages ago? Asked Killer B. Yes. Roshi gloomily stared out the window, the sun lighting his red hair gold. Ugh. I hate that place. I just wanted to have a simple life as a farmer. Peace and quiet, sip my tea and watching the sunset and all that. Nobody ever asked me if I wanted to be a Jinchuriki. No. No they didn't. They stuck this monkey. This Yonbi, into me. Well, I didn't ask for it, but I came out here to better control the Yonbi. Far away from the village. I have a proper name, you foolish baboon. Came a brand new voice. That you, Son Goku. Came Gyuki's voice. There was a shocked silence from B and Naruto. A huge red monkey with deadly looking fangs appeared in their minds. Gyuki, is it? Said the monkey, Son Goku. Gotta say, it's been a while. I think. Over 600 years. Yeah, the last time I visited Suarendo. And do I sense someone else? Kurama, is that you? No response. Kurama, asked Naruto. The Kyuubi's proper name, human, said Son. I see that you don't get along with your Jinchuriki either, Kurama. Still no response. Why isn't he answering? Ignore him. The stupid fox has been playing possum the whole time these past few days. Still all uppity, Kurama. Do you still have that stupid idea that you're the most powerful Biju just because you have 9 tails? Asked Son Goku. He's the strongest Biju. Asked Naruto. No. Shouted Son. Yes, I am, said the Kyuubi, finally jumping into the fray. The old man entrusted me with the greatest power of us all. I have no need for this, my little Jinchuriki, friend. Magic. Nonsense. Stop the petty squabbling, both of you, Gyuki instructed. Those Akatsuki are after all of our brethren. I don't know what they mean to do, but they've already gotten. Shukaku. Good riddance, said Kurama, mouth curling into a wicked smile. The Tanuki never did have a brain. Or brawn. What's gotten into you, Kurama? Asked the Hachibi, turning to the Kyuubi in their shared mind space. In the old days, you used to be a big softy. And now, shut up. The fox snarled, his orange-brown fur bristling in agitation. Fine. If you'll both be quiet, at most, I won't be a hindrance. You can have fun with Naruto all you. Just leave me out of it. I'm going to take a nap. With that, the Kyuubi curled up in a ball and closed his eyes. The Kyuubi is sad and mad, down deep, be wrapped. That's why he's curling up and going to sleep. Back on topic, said Roshi. I may hate Iowa, but I do have a friend there, Han. He's the other Jinchuriki, and I don't want anything to happen to him because of that Char. Man. Oh yeah, why are there 2 Jinchuriki in Iowa anyway? I asked 80, but he said he'd explain later. The first Hokage gave each village except for Suna a set number of biju that he'd captured with would release, so that each village would have an equal amount of po. Thought that would bring about peace. Roshi snorted. Was he ever wrong about that? Equal amount of power. Does that mean Kurama really is the strongest? Asked Naruto. No. Yelled the Yonbi and Hachibi. The Yonbi actually bared his sharp monkey fangs at Naruto. It was scary, especially with his fur, red as Roshi's hair. Finish up your rice, Naruto. Then we can leave this place and rescue Kokuo, Gyuki said irritably. And so, after a short nap to recharge their batteries, Naruto, Killer Bee, and Roshi set off towards Iwa. Somewhere in Iwa, Han, owner of a very successful hot spring enterprise, sneezed loudly. Excuse me, Ino said politely. Have you seen this person? She held up the photograph of Naruto to the puzzled ramen shop owner. The plump old lady squinted suspiciously at the picture. No, miss. There have been no kabuki actors frequenting my humble Sugoi ramen. Ino turned to glare at the offending photo. Damn it. Not that one. Damn that stupid Naruto and his stupid ninja registration photo, Ino muttered under her breath as she turned her pockets inside out. I'm so sorry. I meant to show you. She held up the Team Kakashi photo, taken last week. The ramen shop owner's eyes instantly lit up in recognition. Oh, she chuckled, waving her hand. Yes, what a funny boy he was. Ate 20 bowls of ramen in one sitting. I've never made that much money in my whole life, fro. Customer. And what was his name? Did he have any companions? If worse came to worst, she would just have to use her mind transfer jutsu. Ino didn't want to use it on Civilia. If it couldn't be helped. Let's see. She scratched her chin. I think his name was Menma, Wakame, Chashu, Kamoboko. Some kind of ramen topping, I'm sure. Naruto. Ino pressed. That's right. Naruto. The old lady clapped her hands. And he was traveling with two funny men. I remember that one was speaking entirely in rhymes. Entirely. In rhymes. Great. Naruto had picked up someone as weird as he was. Yes, his name had something to do with squid. Did Naruto call him Octopops? Yes, that's right. And then Naruto asked if he could take all of my chopsticks from the chopstick holder. He said it was for ninja training. They paid me a lot of money. Didn't complain. Oh, for the love of. Naruto took all of the chopsticks from a ramen stand. For ninja training. Did he want to stab enemy ninja with chopsticks? What the hell? Did he mention where he might be heading? Asked Ino. Iwagakure, I think. The old lady paused. Even though he had a Konoha Hittite and his rhyming friend Octopops had a Kumo Hittite. But I think their other friend wa. Iwa. So maybe it was a ninja exchange trip. Damn it. Ninja exchange trips. Thank you so much. Ino gave the old lady a polite bow and had some ramen for her trouble. It was hard to eat the meal though, because someone had taken all of the chopsticks with him. Ino's forehead veins began to bulge again as she slowly and tortuously ate boiling hot ramen without the aid of any eating utensils. Damn you, stupid Naruto. Meanwhile, Kakashi and Sakura finally reached Suna as the perfectly round red desert sun began to set. Baki's eyes widened in surprise. Konoha ninja, greetings. Didn't you just leave? Why have you come back? Sakura's eyes were dancing with anger. Anger at Naruto and his stupid little adventure that made her come here, the second round trip in a week. Like everything was AC. Something. Damn you, stupid Naruto. For the next few days, Naruto, Bee, and Roshi wound their way through the terrain of the land of Earth, the ground under their feet alternating between dry and inhospitable brown and lush and fertile green. They would pause for nothing except to rest, eat, go to the bathroom, the case of Naruto and Killer Bee, disappear for a few hours with the chopsticks from Sugoi Ramen, for their ninja training. But despite all of said interruptions, they soon found themselves nearing the outskirts of Iwagakure, home of hot spring owner and Jinchuriki of the Gobi, Han. Listen up, kids, said Roshi. Unlike me, Han actually grew to enjoy staying in Iwa, where he's welcome as a hero. Unlike me, He actually gets along with his Biju. An owl. Unlike me, he's not interested in farming. He owns a hot spring inside the village. That's where we'll find him. Hot spring? Asked Naruto. Why a hot spring? Why not a ramen stand? What is it with you and ramen? Roshi fired back. Anyway, he owns a hot spring because it's easy to handle with his Biju's power, boil release. It's a Kekkei Genkei. Combination of fire release and water release, and Han can create boiling water and steam with it. It's great for hot springs, just like my lava release is good for creating farmland. But if I had boil release, I would use it to, like, cook 1,000 bowls of ramen in one shot, ya know, Naruto said, a bit of drool forming at the edges of his mouth at the thought. We need to get you a new hobby, Roshi muttered. He's right. Lay off the noodles. Naruto, you need a new hobby. Maybe you should learn to doodle, said B. The three runaway Jinchuriki infiltrated Iwagakure with an ease that would have made any security guard blush with embarrassment, all the while bickering about the nay. Naruto to get new hobbies. Wow. Iwa sure is rocky, ya know, Naruto said as the trio walked through the village square. Yes, thank you for stating the obvious, kid. It's not like the village is hidden in rocks or anything, Roshi muttered. He'd taken to muttering a lot whenever Naruto opened mouth. Naruto and B didn't even bother to disguise themselves. They were stupid. Naruto, in fact, refused to remove his Konoha Hitaiate, because it seemed as though everyone needed to know that the future Hokage of Konoha was in town and would rescue Han, Jinchuriki of Kokuo, from the evil designs of the Akatsuki. A lot of villagers, therefore, were openly gaping at them, especially since Naruto's hair was a striking yellow, very similar to a certain yellow flash who had taken down 1,000 Iwa ninja years ago. Naruto mistook their pointing and muttering for something else entirely, and grinned and waved at his audience. So did B. Roshi sighed. Why am I surrounded by fools? He asked himself. He, at least, was wearing a traveler's hat to cover his face. I don't know, they seem pretty funny, said Son Goku. You've been very talkative lately, Yonbi. Address me by my name, lesser primate, Son snapped before going back to sleep. The two foolish Jinchuriki and the one smart Jinchuriki finally reached the hot spring located a little ways away from the village square. They hastily sprinted into the men's section of the bath, attracting a lot of stares as they ran past the men showering and scrubbing each other's backs and walked directly the hot spring fully clothed. They weren't there to have a relaxing bath. They had a Jinchuriki to save. Is that even allowed? One guy murmured, scowling at the blonde-haired boy with a ludicrous smile on his face. Maybe they're Yakuza. That one guy has tattoos on his face and arm, murmured another, staring at Killer B. Maybe that's why they didn't remove their clothes. They might have more embarrassing tattoos that aren't allowed here, murmured a third man, boring holes into the ba. Roshi's straw hat. Maybe tattoos weren't allowed, but it seemed that clothes were allowed, paradoxically, because Han, Jinchuriki of Kokuo, was having a nice leisurely soak, fully decked OU armor. He was currently the only one doing so. It was a weird hot spring. Han. Roshi called out. Is that you? Han looked up. He was, without a doubt, wearing a get-up incredibly unsuitable for bathing in an onsen. For starters, he was wearing a red traveler's hat just like Roshi. Secondly, he was wearing red metal armor that covered every single inch of his skin except for his eyes. Even the red mask he was wearing seemed to be made of metal. And he was wearing a keikogi over the armor, to complete the bizarre picture. To Naruto and B's shock, Han didn't even seem to be wet despite being submerged in water. What kind of freaky Biju power was that? Roshi. Han asked. You're here. I thought you hated Iwa. Why are you back? To rescue you, said Roshi. Listen, there's a group called Akatsuki and they're after us Jinchuriki. That's exactly right, little bugs. Yelled a new voice. The roof of the hot spring exploded. Two black cloaks patterned with red clouds flapped in the wind. The Iwa security guards glared suspiciously at the ragtag band of Konoha ninja standing at their gates, waiting for their travel permits to be processed. The two villages weren't officially fighting anymore, but that didn't mean that things were all hunky-dory. peaches and cream, sunshine and rainbows. Well, you get the M. There was still a lot of hostility between Konoha and Iwa, reflected in the incredibly long time the guards made the Naruto search party wait. How long is it going to take? Tenten asked Neji tiredly. Who knows? The guards really seem to hate us, he responded. Tenten, Neji, don't get worn out so easily. Lee said reassuringly. We're closer to Naruto-kun than ever before, ever since Ino-san found out that he was coming here. Neji's eyes started twitching at the mention of the Sugoi ramen incident. Everyone was so hungry after running around Earth like chickens, thanks to the circus that Naruto had unleashed. Everyone, therefore, wanted to stop at Sugoi ramen to grab a bite to eat. And everyone, with the exception of Hinata and Lee, to no one's surprise, was livid on discovering that Naruto had taken all of the chopsticks with him, for some Godforza ninja training. Neji had spilled hot broth all over his clothes. Tenten had burned her tongue. Lee took the episode as training, and had ordered ever more bowls of ramen to eat bare hand. No wonder Tsunade-sama was binge drinking when she assigned them this mission. She must have foreseen this. She was clairvoyant. Neji was still seething even after the security finally processed their documents and let them into the village, turning their attention to a Kumo group right behind them. TW. People named Karui and Omoi were making a racket, increasing Neji's irritation further. The Konoha 11 wearily made their way to the closest inn, planning to at least deposit their belongings and close their eyes a bit before rushing off to find Naruto. But only 30 minutes later, the search team was stirred by a loud explosion far off in the village. Tenten poked her head out of her hotel room door. So did everyone else. You think? She asked. Most certainly. It is Naruto, Shino responded grimly. Screams rang throughout the bathhouse. Everyone in the women's and men's sections rushed outside to escape the caved-in roof, many clad only in towels. I knew that they were Yakuza, yelled one guy. A pair of goons stepped out of the wreckage of the roof. One man with silver hair, armed with a very sharp triple-bladed scythe, and the other with a mask covering most face. They were known as the zombie combo within the Akatsuki, Hidan and Kakuzu. Are you Han, Jinchuriki of the Gobi? Asked Hidan, wearing a wicked, sadistic smile. You're coming with me, you son of a bitch. Han stiffened. My mother is not a bitch, he snapped. But your mother is a horse and your father is a donkey. Naruto and B giggled. Roshi groaned. Hidan's face turned purple with rage. What was that? I'll kill you, you. Kakuzu held out his arm. Hidan, you imbecile. Haven't you heard the phrase, look before you leap? He gestured towards the 4 Jinchuriki. We're 2 against 4. To be careful. And besides, we've been instructed to bring them in alive. Oh. Hidan's shoulders momentarily sagged, then he brightened up again. That means I can slowly torture them as an offering for Jashin. I'll rip off their arms, and then ears, and then is that guy okay? Naruto asked. He seems kinda unstable, ya know. Of course he's unstable, Roshi said. More importantly, how are we gonna beat him? Han, give me a fist bump, said B, holding out his clenched hand. Han blinked. Huh. Just do it, Roshi grumbled. It's his greeting, or ritual, or whatever. He made me do it too. Okay. Han and Killer B bumped fists, and the Gobi and Hachibi saw each other for the first time in centuries. Gyuki. Kokuo. It's been so long, said the 5-tailed dolphin horse. I've missed all of you guys. Ha ha. So what have you been up to, Kokuo? Asked Gyuki. Me, I've been in Kumo, putting up with this idiots, he nodded at B, rap. Oh, well, Han here isn't an idiot, and our hot spring's doing really well. Don't leave me out of your conversation, said Son Goku. Wow, son, your fangs have gotten really big. Let's talk later, Han said. We have to defeat these 2 clowns first. Right, said Kokuo. Naruto and I, we have a plan, Killer B said. We know how to make these Akatsuki scram. Oh yeah, unbelievers. Hidan snarled, swinging his scythe around like an axe murderer. I'll gut you and give your limbs as an offering to Jashin. Who's Jashin? Asked Naruto. The god of my religion. He demands nothing less than absolute death and destruction. Yeah, he was definitely unstable, if his evil laugh was anything to go by. Whoa, you need to find a new god to worship, Naruto muttered. Anyway, Naruto, remember our training, B said. Right. The chopstick training. B, don't tell me you're. That's right. 8-0, Naruto's chakra is wind, very good for piercing and stabbing things. Naruto took out all of the chopsticks from Sugoi Ramen, which he'd carefully stored into a storage scroll. He also took out his conventional kunai. He concentrated hard, imagining his wind chakra grinding and sharpening together, and flowing through the chopsticks and kunai. It worked. Naruto threw the wind chakra-infused chopsticks at Hidan, who was too busy laughing his evil laugh, and didn't dodge. He screamed in pain as they passed clean through neck and through the wall. Then he picked up the kunai and did the same, getting another shot at his torso. Hidan screamed some more, then fixed Naruto with a look. A.V. Disturbing look. How'd y'all like that, weirdo? Naruto yelled. Those are the deadly weapons of Sugoi Ramen. You little. Hidan raised his scythe and staggered towards Naruto, only to fall into the bath. That was another problem for Hidan. This was, without a doubt, the worst kind of battlefield he could have been dealt. There was no solid ground on which to draw a circle symbol for his ritual. There was also the pesky fact that Han was covered head to toe in armor, and couldn't easily be scratched, so drawing a blood sample from him would be a big problem. Blood ritual inflicting sympathetic damage to his enemy would be of no use. Kakuzu seemed to have realized this, and charged towards Naruto, intending to take him out. But unfortunately for him, Killer B was the one who had taught Naruto that little trick, and could do it too, except with his swords. That was how Kakuzu found himself being impaled in 2 hearts by B's lightning chakra-infused swords. He, too, was so fixated on the annoying blonde Jinchuriki that he to duck. B had many swords, far more than the number of Kakuzu's hearts. 2 against 4 super powerful Jinchuriki was difficult even for these deadly S-rank missing nin. Then Han had to go and heat up the hot water to an astronomically high temperature, and Hidan screamed once more in pain, rage, and ecstasy. He was a masochist. Aft. Yonbi, a little help. I'm the only one sitting around not doing anything, Roshi requested. If you can ask for my help, why can't you remember my name? Is it so difficult to say? I do know your name, Roshi muttered uncomfortably. Okay. Then say it. Do that, and I'll help you. Roshi took a deep breath. In all the years he'd been out in the countryside, trying to make peace with the beast stuffed into his body against his will, he could never bring to say its name. But there was a first time for everything, and Roshi decided to shelve his stubbornness once and for all. Son Goku, king of the sage monkeys, handsome monkey king, great sage equaling heaven. Help me save my friends. There was dead silence for a while. Just Sun would have been fine. Then the water turned molten with lava, except for the area around Roshi's friends. It was extremely hot lava. It was extremely hot water. And Hidan and Kakuzu were in extremely hot pain. It was such a good thing for them that they'd managed to escape before the lava-water mixture rose to their knees. They were immortal, but getting incinerated by lava was tough, even for immortals. The foolish Jinchuriki had managed to drive another group of rogue ninja to murderous rage. The Naruto search team and the Killer Bee search team both arrived at the bombed-out hot spring at the same time. The terrified patrons were talking gibberish at the Iwa ninja who had arrived at the scene, reporting directly to the Tsuchikage. There were these 4 Yakuza. They were fighting these other 2 Yakuza. The blonde teenage Yakuza threw his chopsticks at this other Yakuza and stabbed him in the neck. Yakuza. Seriously. Kiba muttered to his teammates. Naruto-kun sure made a splash, Hinata said. She looked at the remains of Han's poor hot spring and tried not to laugh. It seemed that she was the only one who actually thought that Naruto's antics were kind of cool and funny. Not many would go missing nin while leaving a note asking people not to worry, along with a smiley face and instructions to water his plants. Hinata. Dot was having fun. Sakura woke up with a stretch of her arms and a yawn. She had a good long sleep, which she needed. Because anything involving Naruto was bound to be a headache. Such as requesting the cage for help in locating the fool. She looked out of the window of her guest room. The sun was an intense red here in Suna, very unlike the cheery yellow of the Konoha sun. She might have enjoyed comp. And contrasting the two villages on another day, a day in which she was free to come here as a tourist or something, but that wasn't going to happen anytime soon. She waited impatiently for Kakashi-sensei, who, for once, wasn't that late. Maybe it was because he couldn't ghost the cage on an official mission for Tsunade-sama, or maybe because there were no roads for him to get lost on here. Whatever the reason, he was on time. But some old habits really did die hard, and he read Ika tactics for the third time as they walked to the cage's office. Sensei, don't you get tired of reading the same thing over and over again? She asked. Well, Kakashi-sensei said with a cheery eye smile. Does Naruto ever get tired of eating ramen? She sighed. You have a point. I hope he isn't bothering some poor ramen shop owner in some other country by taking all of the chopsticks or something. Now, don't say things like that or they'll become true, Sakura. Little did they know how right they were. Gaara stood up from his desk with a smile of greeting when they reached his office. He looked very distinguished indeed in the official station of the cage of Sunagaku. Good morning, Haruno Sakura, Hitaki Kakashi. I would say it's been a while, but it hasn't. He smiled slightly at his silly joke. It's a pleasure to see you again for the second time in 2 weeks, Gaara-kun, Kakashi-sensei said cheerfully. We Konoha ninja would love to come here more often, but much better circumstances. Unfortunately, right now. You mean to say that there's an emergency in Konoha right now? Gaara frowned. I owe Naruto. And Konoha a great debt. I would be happy to offer any assistance yo wish. Sakura shifted uncomfortably. How would they even begin to explain the insanity that Naruto had unleashed? Words couldn't do the chaos justice. Evidently, Kakashi-sensei was thinking along the same lines. Well, I don't know if emergency is the right word, but... Sakura took the infamous note out of her pocket. Here, it's best if you read Naruto's explanation yourself. Gaara took the paper and quickly scanned over it. He didn't have eyebrows, but if he did, they would have risen further and further into his hairline as he read line after line. The note. Naruto. Ran away with a Jinchuriki named Octopops. Is that his real name, or is it a pseudonym? Asked Gaara. Most likely a stupid nickname that Naruto came up with. That just makes it harder to figure out the mystery man's real identity, Sakura said. Gaara's eyes became downcast. Why was he downcast? Sakura would have thought him the type to express quiet amusement or exasperation upon hearing about antics. Naruto ran away and he didn't invite me. He muttered. A glimmer of jealousy shone in his eyes. Whoa, what? Gaara was. Kage-sama, yelled Asuna Shinobi, running into the room. He panted for breath, clutching a rolled-up paper in his sweaty palm. What is it? Asked Gaara. It's a newspaper from Iwagakure. One of our shinobi station nearby sent it to us by hawk. You need to see this. He gingerly placed the newspaper on the cage's desk. Massive explosion in hot spring. 0 injuries, 6 absconding, the front page headline announced. Iwa 2 people, who have been identified as Ninja of Konoha and Kumo, photographs published below, participated in a fight in an onsen owned by, name redacted, Urs. Third ninja war veteran and local celebrity, along with, name redacted, who had obtained permission from the Tsuchikage to settle in the countryside several decades ag. The 4 were reported to be fighting as a team against 2 unknown assailants who have been identified as members of the criminal organization Akatsuki, known for the distinctive black cloaks with red cloud designs. The aims of Akatsuki are currently unknown, although it has been reported that they have a presence in most countries of T. World. The motivations of the 2 assailants are unknown. In the scuffle that broke out, the Konoha ninja allegedly impaled one Akatsuki member with a pair of chopsticks, and local residents have since given him the appellation Chopsticks Master of Konoha. No injuries were reported, Although the building was almost completely destroyed and confused patrons mistakenly identified the 4 people in question as Yakuza. All 6 involved in the fight have since disappeared. Their whereabouts are currently unknown. It is unknown if the Konoha and Kumo ninja were authorized to enter the village. Investigation is pending. The Tsuchikage has sent inquiries to the Hokage and Raikage regarding their respective charges. And there was Naruto, Konoha Hitai standing out as brightly as his blonde hair and orange jacket, grinning up at the newspaper readers without a care in the world. Give everyone a thumbs up to boot. And the photograph next to him portrayed a middle-aged man, also blonde like Naruto, but with a mustache and beard, quite unlike Naruto. He too was grinning in a very manner, Kumo Hitai gleaming cheerfully at the world. A horn-shaped tattoo adorned his cheek. Gaara, Sakura, and Kakashi stared at the newspaper for a long time. I suppose that this must be Naruto's new friend, Octopops, Kakashi finally said. I take it that his Jinchuriki rescue mission is quite successful. He even attacked the Akatsuki with chopsticks, Sakura muttered. Tsunade Shisho must be postal. We need to get back soon, sensei. Who knows what might have over there. I'll be happy to send Suna Ninja to search for Naruto, Gaara offered kindly. I hope he hasn't gotten hurt from fighting with the Akatsuki. Thank you very much, Gaara-kun, said Kakashi sensei. I'm sure Tsunade-sama will appreciate it. The fatigued members of Team 7 made haste to rush to Konoha. Damn it. Freaking damn it. This was getting to be deja vu for poor Tsunade. It wasn't even 10 in the morning yet, and Naruto was apparently known in Iwagakure as the chopsticks master of Konoha. On top of a nasty letter that she had received from Onoki, the Sandaime Tsuchikage, assuring her that he would send his own ninja to track down the band of foolish Jinch. She had to deal with certain domestic problems as well. More specifically, Sarutobi Sensei's irritating ex-friend, Warhawk, and all-around awful guy, Shimura Danzo. She used to have no idea how Sarutobi Sensei and Danzo had ever been friends, but then she was reminded of her old friendship with Orochimaru, so there was that. Need I remind you, Danzo, that I am the Hokage, not you, she snapped. You have absolutely no authority to order any of your subordinates on any international search. That's final. Danzo respectfully inclined his head at her, somehow throwing as much contempt as he could into the gesture. But of course, Tsunade Heim, he murmured, casting a bow. Look at her with his one visible eye. But I merely think that my young protege would be of great use in assisting the team that you've sent out. Most likely a mole, planted by Danzo for whatever nefarious subterfuge he'd planned. But she couldn't directly accuse him of that. He was too good at covering up his track. Danzo, the search party I have sent out already has 9 members, and one team specializes specifically in tracking. There is no need to send anyone else. That is true, he agreed. But Team Kakashi is 2 members short. I would be glad to assign one of my proteges to fill up the gaps, at least until Uzumaki Naruto returns. Damn it. Now he wanted to plant a spy directly into Naruto's team, and basic etiquette dictated that Tsunade would be unable to refuse, as she had no direct proof that he up to anything. In that case. Very well, she said. To fill up the second gap, I'll assign one of my own Anbu to Team Kakashi as well. After Danzo left, Tsunade went back to sake bottle 3. A worried Shizune discreetly threw sake bottle 4 out of the window. Stupid Naruto. A warm, crackling campfire. Yummy fish caught from a nearby stream, ramen for Naruto, though. Excitable chatter, laughing, and joking. It was the first ever in history Jinchuriki camping trip. Okay, let's go, Killer Bee rapped. One at a time. Tell everyone your names, your likes, your hates, your favorite sights, your favorite cakes. Why does he speak only in rap? Asked Han. I mean, favorite cakes. He came up with that just because it sounds like hates. Roshi shook his head in resignation. Leave it, Han, it takes all kinds of people for the world to go around. I'll go first, Naruto said. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I love ramen, especially Ichiraku ramen, my favorite place in the whole world. But Sugoi ramen back in Reihoku tea. Pretty cool. My favorite thing to do in my free time is to try out different flavors of ramen. I think that Ichiraku's cup ramen is better than all those other cup ramen in the. I have a special pair of chopsticks that I use just for my favorite ramen. When I finish ninja training for the day, I always have a bowl of. Why are you so obsessed with ramen? Asked Han. Can't you talk about anything else? Leave it, Han, it takes all kinds of people for the world to go around. Naruto pouted at Roshi and Han. And my dream is to become Hokage. The most fabulous Hokage of all time. He slurped at his ramen. But before I do that, I have 3. First, get my friend Sasuke back from Orochimaru. Second, rescue all of the Jinchuriki from the Akatsuki. And third, win Ichiraku's annual eating contest and get all you see. Ramen for a month. Speaking of that, who are we gonna rescue next? Asked Son Goku, cutting Naruto's introduction short. The nearest one I can sense is Chome, Kokuo said. To Chome we go, then, said Gyuki. A snort came from within Naruto's stomach. Everyone turned around to stare. I see that you and all your Jinchuriki are chummy now, the Kyuubi sneered. Even you, Yonbi. Don't call me that, the monkey snapped. Fine, foolish monkey king, or whatever it is. You're all in over your heads and. What happened to you, Kurama? Asked Kokuo in surprise. When we were kids. Leave it, Kokuo, Gyuki muttered. He's been antisocial for a while. We'll just have to do it without him. Kokuo looked unhappy about it, but she let the matter drop. You guys, B said, looking uncharacteristically uncomfortable. Even he didn't know what to make of the Biju sibling squabble. Let's strategize. Eyes on the prize. Everything. That's what it'll decide. Yeah, said Han. So where is Chome anyway? Takigakure wouldn't know what hit them. Back in the Akatsuki lair, Hidan and Kakuzu had found kindred spirits in Kisame and Samahata. It hurt. Hidan yelled. But it felt so good. I hate that son of a bitch, Naruto, so much. And that other son of a bitch, Han. And the other one. Samahata shrieked. Samahata says that it was hurting badly too, and can understand your pain. Samahata also hates the accursed Jinchuriki, Kisame translated. And that together, we see a. Those Jinchuriki like fish. What a stupid pun. Deidara muttered. Anyway, I wanna kill that Naruto guy too. He punched me in the face a few weeks ago, Enough. Snapped Pain. This is the second time that you fools have failed to capture your assigned Jinchuriki. What is your excuse? They ganged up on us, Kakuzu explained. If it was 2 against 1, we could have easily finished them off. But they outnumbered us and it was impossible to win. You mean to say that the Jinchuriki are banding together to thwart our plans? Pain asked. To everyone's surprise, it was the usually silent and stoic Itachi who spoke up. Yes, that was what the Hachibi Jinchuriki, Killer Bee, informed us of, Itachi said. Pain looked thoughtful, as much as it was possible for a reanimated corpse to look thoughtful, anyway. Interesting. He clasped his hands together. Perhaps. He snapped his fingers, gathering everyone's attention. Your Jinchuriki hunting duties are temporarily suspended. However, you will continue to monitor them. We will watch. And wait for the right time. Back in Iowa, the 2 search parties had finally crossed paths, and if there was ever such cacophony and mayhem in the village before, no one, not even the oldest villager, witnessed it. A brawl was on the verge of breaking out at the remains of Han's destroyed hot spring. I'm telling you, we're looking for our annoying ramen-obsessed classmate and his new Jinchuriki friend Octopops. Ino shouted, unintentionally waving Naruto's Kabukiya ninja registration photo at Karui. And we're looking for our missing master, Killer Bee Sama, whose name is not Octopops. Karui yelled back. He's a very distinguished 3rd Ninja War veteran and he's Trav. With some guy called the Chopsticks Master of Konoha. Meanwhile, the gears were finally clicking into place for Shikamaru. He asked in a low voice. I would like to know the attributes of the Hachibi. Why? Because I have an inkling of the true identity of Naruto's new Jinchuriki Fry. Octopops. You too, huh? Shikamaru asked. Well, I'd suspected too, but I didn't want to say anything in case I turned out to be wrong and misled everyone. It would be troublesome. That happened. The Hachibi is a hybrid Biju, unlike the Kyubi. It has the head and body of an ox, but its tails, so to speak, are tentacles. Octopus tentacles. I see, Shino said. And I presume that the Hachibi Jinchuriki would also have the ability to sprout octopus tentacles, earning him the nickname, Octopops. C and Darui were listening in on this whispered conversation, and for them, too, the gears finally clicked into place. They were both searching for the same people. Did that make them friends? Friends in suffering at least, if the disgruntled expressions of the Konoha search team were anything to go by. C and Darui could understand exactly what they were feeling. Babysitting Karui and Omoi for the past few days was not fun. On top of that, running around Earth from pillar to post and getting info on B-san and his mysterious blonde ramen-loving friend from some ramen shop owner. Of all people, this was not what they'd signed up for when they'd become the Raikage's bodyguards. Karui, Omoi said, don't make these Konoha guys angry. What if you get into a fist fight with Yamanaka-san, and then her friend, that bored-looking guy over there, to help, and then that fat guy also comes in to help, and you'll be outnumbered. Choji's face was slowly turning beet red on being called fat, and he was just about to violently voice his displeasure, when, to his surprise, Karui beat him to the punch. Give me a break, Omoi. She bellowed. That guy isn't fat. He's just big-boned. 9 jaws dropped in unison. And for Choji, it was love at first sight. Ever since she was a young girl, it had been Fu's dream to make 100 friends. It always annoyed the villagers of her hometown, Takigakure, when she would sprint them and yell, "Hi, do you want to be my 100th friend?" The village leader Shibuki always told her that if she kept doing that, sooner or later, she would give someone a heart attack, and then he would be in massive trouble as his responsibility. She didn't understand why, though. After all, she would loudly announce her presence right before running up to people. They had plenty of warning beforehand. She always counted her Biju, Lucky 7 Chome, as her first friend, because they'd been together since she was a baby. Lucky 7 Chome always told her that as a Jinchuriki, she was kinda like Takigakure's lucky charm. Shibuki. Shibuki was an interesting village leader. He never called Fu a super weapon or an unstable monster that Taki had no choice but to use as a living bomb against villages, that is, or whatever went on in those other hidden ninja villages. No, he was of the belief that Chome was a lucky charm, a guardian deity, perhaps, bestowed upon their tiny village for their happiness and prosperity. As a result, Fu was not a typical Jinchuriki, and that was saying something, as there were only 9 of them at any given time. Fu was happy. That was the difference between herself and a lot of Jinchuriki. Oh sure, quite a few, such as Naruto, Gaara, Yugito, B, and Han, did eventually win their villagers' love and respect. But that was after the villagers went beyond seeing them as unstable monsters. Fu never had to go through that phase of a typical Jinchuriki life. Most Taki villagers thought of her as either mildly irritating, or as the amazing lucky charm of the villag. But it was hard making new friends when she was stuck in the same old village day in and day out. How was she supposed to reach her 100-friend goal if she wasn't to leave the village? Shibuki kept insisting that the world outside was dangerous for people like her, whatever that meant. Fu was happy, unlike the typical Jinchuriki, but Fu was also bored, also unlike the typical Jinchuriki. Was she supposed to wait for new friends to drop out of the sky or whatever? So imagine her surprise when 4 new friends just dropped out of the sky one day. A very cute blonde boy with a very bright happy smile, Naruto, told her that they needed her on their Jinchuriki rescue team, to save the other Jinchuriki from some group called Akatsuki, or something. Fu was barely listening. There was just one major thing she got from the conversation. She could finally make 100 friends. So it was with no trouble at all that she took off with Naruto, and those other 3 boring old people friends, after writing a note to Shibuki, explaining that she would be soon. Naruto kindly helped her write it. She had no idea why there was a lot of screaming, yelling, shouting, and general chaos in the village square as she ran away with her new friends. She wrote a note to Shibuki saying she'd be fine. What were they fussed about? Fu had 100 friends to make. An exhausted Kakashi and Sakura limped their way into the Hokage Tower. Bath. Then sleep, Sakura muttered. Kakashi-sensei mumbled in agreement, then added something about feeding his ninkin. Whatever. Tsunade was there at her desk, and she looked pretty exhausted too. Maybe it was the paperwork, or maybe it was the two Anbu standing at attention. Godime. Tsunade Shisho. Kakashi. Sakura. Tsunade's fingers were twitching. As you both know, your team is 2 members short. I've given it some thought, and these 2 Anbu will be Naruto Sasuke's replacements, at least until they come back. Kakashi and Sakura blinked in surprise. Kakashi, because one of the Anbu was none other than his good friend and partner in the Black Ops, Tenzo the Wood Release user. Sakura, because the dark-haired, extremely pale teenage Anbu was smiling a very fake smile at her. Hello, ugly, he said politely. Sakura snapped. A warm, crackling campfire. Yummy fish caught from a nearby stream, ramen for Naruto, though. Excitable chatter, laughing, and joking. It was the second ever in history Jinchuriki camping trip. And Fu was more than willing to participate in the Jinchuriki introduction thing that B had suggested. My name is Fu, Su. I'm 16 years old, Su. I'm from Takigakure and I love bugs like my first friend Lucky 7, the 7-tailed kabutomushi, Su. I love Fugu and IH. Nato. My dream is to make 100 friends and become just like my village's Takikage, Shibuki, Su. Fu, said Chome. There is no such thing as the Takikage. Shibuki is just the village leader. Well, I'm calling him the Takikage. He's just as cool and awesome as all the other Kage, Su. Fu yelled, munching on her fried fish. Next, yelled B. He stared pointedly at Roshi, most likely because he'd skipped out of the introduction last time. Roshi sighed a deep, heavy sigh, as though he'd been asked to lift some mountains or go find the Dragon Balls. My name is Roshi. I like farming, peace, and quiet. I dislike annoying people who talk too much. The end. Wow, that was short, Naruto remarked. You didn't mention any of your favorite foods, ya know. Next. Roshi yelled. Next up was Han. My name is Han, said the fully armored man. I love marketing my skills so that I can make money. For example, my hot spring back in Iowa is based on my boil release. Oh yeah, Naruto butted in. Why were you bathing fully armored, Grandpa Han? Han looked rather hurt. Grandpa, I'm only 38, he said. Naruto seemed to have realized his mistake, because he rushed in to say, oh, no, you got the wrong idea, I mean, Uncle Han. I was just trying to be friendly. Han calmed down slightly, but Roshi did not. Why is he uncle, but I'm grandpa? He snapped at Naruto. I'm not even 50. Hey, you just give off grumpy old man vibes, Grandpa Roshi, Naruto said, shrugging. Roshi smoldered so much, you could almost see lava coming out of his ears. Luckily, came to the rescue. And to answer your question, I wasn't bathing fully armored. I was powering up the hot spring. Wait just a moment, I haven't finished with Naruto. Next. Killer Bee yelled. Okay. Naruto shouted. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I love ramen, especially Ichiraku ramen, my favorite place in the whole world. But Sugoi ramen back in Reihoku-to. Pretty cool. My favorite thing to do in my free time is to try out different flavors of ramen. I think that Ichiraku's cup ramen is better than all those other cup ramen in the. I have a special pair of chopsticks that I use just for my favorite ramen. Next. B called out. But I'm not done with my introduction, ya know. Naruto, that was the exact same thing you said during the last camping trip, word for word, Han pointed out. Naruto, let's share some ramen when we go to Konoha, Su. Fu declared. I think Fugu ramen would taste really good. I'll even ask our Takikage. Fu, for the last time, there's no such thing. Alright, it's time for my awesome rhymes. Killer Bee grinned. My name's Killer Bee, I'm the Hachibi Jinchuriki, the world's greatest rap master to be. Just then, a feral voice bellowed, B. A glint of blue shone in the dense green-black nighttime forest. This is so dull, Darui said. This is so troublesome, Shikamaru agreed. Choji and Karui weren't the only unlikely duo in the bunch. It's best if we split up so that we can cover more ground. Darui sighed. Bad enough that we had to give info to Aiwa, so it's best if we travel alone so that no one else can out about our mission. It's troublesome, but I agree. He gave Darui a paper. This here contains all relevant info about Naruto that you need to track him. There's nothing else in here that's incriminating, though. Likewise, Darui handed Shikamaru a very similar paper. Information regarding identifying characteristics of B-san. It's dull that we're from enemy villages, but it's troublesome, but we'll have to cooperate this time around. No, Sakura, no. Kakashi yelled, holding back his pink-haired medic ninja. You can't seriously injure Sai, he's a teammate now. Just one punch, Kakashi-sensei. Just one. Shanaru, Sakura grunted, trying her best to get a swing at Sai. The milky-skinned Anbu continued to smile an artificially placid smile. Why are you so upset? He held up a little black book in his ink-stained hands. It says here the two new friends, you should give them a cute nickname. Tenzo, now given the code name Yamato, sighed. Sigh. Yamato gently wrested the book from his grip. I know that Danzo's training was very harsh. That's why we're to deprogram you. Deprogram. Sai repeated. His methods to produce the perfect shinobi run contrary to the will of fire that keeps Konoha thriving, Kakashi explained. So I can understand that you must feel like a of water here. However, please refrain from calling people you've just met ugly. They won't appreciate it. Sai just gave them a blank smile. Yamato and Kakashi exchanged weary looks. He didn't get it. They were in this for the long haul. Okay. Just. Kakashi held up his hands. Never mind. Just don't call Sakura that anymore, okay? Okay. Good. Kakashi said. He held up one of Naruto's potted plants. Now for some teamwork building exercises. Together, we will all water our teammate Naruto's plants. Yam. Use his wood release to make them grow even more, maybe to gigantic proportions. He gave Yamato an eye smile. Senpai. What the hell? All right. Sai said with his least fake smile yet. Slowpoke sensei. Kakashi's smile became strained underneath his mask. They needed to deprogram Sai. B. Roared that strange feral voice again. Everyone stopped talking, turning to stare at the source of the commotion. It was clear that B knew who it was, and that he was frightened. Beads of sweat trickled down his face, but he bravely tried to smile. No need to worry, he told his fellow foolish Jinchuriki. It's just my friend. Octopops, you aren't rapping. Why aren't you rapping? Naruto asked. What's going on? Is there some kind of emergency? You can bet there is. Then a giant flaming blue cat burst onto the scene and scratched B right across the face. Naruto screamed. Fu screamed. Han screamed. Even Roshi screamed. Could you blame them, though? Normal cats are very cute. Giant flaming blue cats are very terrifying. Then the cat turned into a human lady. Specifically, a human ninja lady wearing a Kumo standard shinobi uniform, just like B, along with a dangerous scowl. Her blonde hair, standing on end like a cat's fur during a fight. Even her nails were sharp, just like a cat's claws. I can't believe you, B. Snarled Ni Yugito, Jinchuriki of the Nibi. You went on a Jinchuriki rescue mission without inviting me. Another Jinchuriki. Yugito. I beg your pardon, please, B said sheepishly, rubbing the angry red marks on his face. I didn't mean to leave you out. Honestly, that's not Killer B. Yugito seemed to have calmed down after venting her anger in a frighteningly unhinged way. She turned towards the other quaking, trembling Jinchuriki. Han was hiding. Roshi. A ridiculous sight, as Han was easily the tallest Jinchuriki of the bunch. Meanwhile, Naruto and Fu were holding on to each other for dear life. Pleased to meet you, the scary cat lady said with a smile. I'm Ni Yugito, Jinchuriki of the Nibi, Matabi. Please don't make any puns about my name, or I will scratch Y. Why yes, ma'am, Naruto squeaked, not releasing his death grip on Fu for a moment. Fu Ne-chan, please protect me from her. Fu frowned as Naruto called her, Ne-chan. Then Killer Bee tried to break the ice. So, Yugito, long time no see. How are things holding up in the village without me? The Raikage had a meltdown and he sent C, Darui, Karui, and Omoi after you, Yugito said, plonking herself down on a log. It was tough for me to sneak past security, B. Managed it last week, when those morons X and Y were on duty. Betty's having another meltdown. She sighed heavily. Took no time at all in tracking you down, what with the massive Biju chakra signatures you five are emitting. I'm surprised that you haven't been cow yet. She took a skewered fish hanging in front of the campfire. Mind if I take this? I'm starving. Naruto nodded feverishly, trying desperately not to provoke her. Yugito then began gnawing at the fish in a very cat-like fashion. Oh, by the way, we're all, chomp, chomp, under an international manhunt now, chomp, chomp. She shrugged off her bag and pushed it towards Roshi, who opened it and pulled out a collection of newspapers and a bingo book. Massive explosion in hot spring. 0 injuries, 6 absconding, he read out. Wanted in Takigakure, Chopsticks Master of Konoha and 3 accomplices. Naruto blushed in pleasure at his new title. Oh, and here, Roshi continued, reading from the bingo book. Wanted in Iwa, Kumo, and Taki 4, that's a lot of zeros. Naruto, B, you two need to be more discreet, do understand that. You're the only ones listed with your photos. It's a good thing that no one will be able to find you with this thing, though, Naruto. He held up the bingo book. It was Naruto's ninja registration photo from when he was 12. The one where he was pretending to be a kabuki actor. Why is he wanted, Sue? Fu asked. We left a note and everything. We asked them not to worry, Sue. Yeah, Naruto agreed. I left a note back when we left Konoha too. I hope that Kakashi-sensei is watering my plants, and that Ba-chan isn't mad at me. The adults in the group, excluding B, stared at Naruto and Fu incredulously. What was wrong with teenagers these days? Did someone beat Jinchuriki kids on the head too often and give them brain damage? Fu. Naruto. Han said. You two ran away from the village. Which is illegal. That's why they're looking for you. But we left notes, ya know. They explained everything. Really? Roshi said. Then you kids can go ahead and explain exactly what you wrote in those notes. Naruto cleared his throat and recited from memory. Yo, everyone. I know this is kinda sudden and all, but I need to leave the village for a few months. Some random Jinchuriki came here and we decided that we need to. Everyone else so that no one ends up like Gaara. But don't worry about us, Octopops is a really cool guy and he isn't a danger to the village or anything. To Kakashi-sensei. Please water my plants while I'm gone. To Ichiraku. I owe you 3,000 ryo. I'll pay you when I'm back. To Sakura-chan. Please tell Ba-chan not to get mad. Naruto smiley face. Yugito was staring at Naruto in shock. Then Fu opened her mouth and added to the fire. I'm leaving on a trip to realize my dream of making 100 friends. Right now I'm somewhere in the 80s range. I'll be back soon when I've made 100. Tell S. Not to worry. Even though the world is dangerous for people like me, I have a lot of friends who will help me. The village's lucky charm. Fu's smiley face. Yugito then stared at Fu in shock. What is wrong with you kids? That's not how you write notes, she finally said. Forget about it, Roshi said. These kids are just weirdos. Who are you calling weird? Yeah, Sue. More importantly, we have 2 more Jinchuriki to rescue, Han said. And if my memory serves me right, they're in Kurigakure. The Bloody Mist Village. Well, asked Pain. What are those Jinchuriki up to? The Nibi, Yonbi, Gobi, Nanabi, Hachibi, and Kyubi Jinchuriki are heading towards Kiri, said Deidara. I bet they're trying to rescue the last 2 Jinchuriki. Very well. This saves us the trouble of looking for the Rokubi. These Jinchuriki are doing our work for us. How convenient. And as for the Sanbi, well, we already have th. Yondaime Mizukage under our control. Those fools just need to complete the set. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Naruto, stop that, Yugito scolded, snatching the cup noodles out of Naruto's hands. Do you want to get caught? How can we get caught? Naruto gestured to the thick mist hanging over the sky and drenching the atmosphere in white. Look at all this. No one can track us with all of mist. Ya know. There are more ways to track someone than just with sight, kid, Roshi said, staring out into the gloom. Han was propelling the boat from island to island. Unlike all of the other countries they'd been to for their Jinchuriki rescue trip, the land of water was not a single contig landmass. This affected their searching abilities rather significantly, because they had to travel by boat half of the time. Who are the Jinchuriki of the land of water, Su? Asked Fu. I don't know who the Rokubi Jinchuriki is, but the Sanbi Jinchuriki is none other than the Yondaime Mizukage, Karataki Yagura, Roshi said grimly. Rumor has it that he's not a very nice person. What do you mean by that, Su? You know that Kiri is also called the village of the bloody mist, right? Oh, yeah, Naruto said. I met two guys from Kiri actually, Momochi Zabuza and his apprentice Haku, ya know. Killer Bee's jaw dropped. You met the mist's cold-blooded killer. What a shock, that must have been a real thriller. We met on my team's first mission outside Konoha. We had to protect old man Tazuna, a bridge builder from the land of waves, and Zabuza and Haku were hired by a Tai named Gato to assassinate him. Let me guess, Roshi said. You somehow became friends with the pair and got them to kill their employer. Yeah, how'd ya know, Grandpa Roshi? Naruto grinned. Roshi just sighed heavily. He muttered something under his breath that sounded like, should have known that you'd befriend murderous missing nin. Karataki Yagura was the one reigning over Kurigakure during the Bloody Mist era, Yugito explained. Suffice to say that he might be just like Momochi Zabuza. It might be better to search for the Rokubi before the Sanbi, Han said. If it's the Mizukage we'll be going up against, we'll need strength in numbers. Seiken is over there, northwest, 300 kilometers away, said Kokuo. It's easier for me to sense the other Biju when we're so nearby. I think Isobu is further off. Though. Right, as Kokuo says, we should find the Rokubi, Seiken, first, agreed Han. Envy gnawed at Naruto's stomach. Why was everyone, even Grandpa Roshi, friends with their Biju? Meanwhile, he was saddled with a fox that hated his guts. Naruto's mind drifted back to when he'd first met the Kyuubi. A flash of claws, terrifying white fangs, and red eyes that had been burning with the flames of a millennia of hatred. How I would like to devour you. How could he rescue Sasuke and become Hokage when he couldn't even make a friend? Especially with someone who had been with him since the beginning. Shino, what is this, insect sixth sense, that you keep going on about, and how will it help us find Naruto? Kiba asked grumpily. I am the best suited for tracking Naruto from here on out, Shino said calmly and quietly. Why? Because he is traveling with a companion who is releasing a massive ammo. Insect pheromones that my Kikaichu are able to detect entire leagues away. First we were following the trail of Biju Chakra and mass destruction, then we started following the Ramen trail, and now we're following the bug pheromone trail. You know, it does make a lot of sense, if this scroll is anything to go by, Tenten said. It says here that the Nanabi is a bug. A kabutomushi, to be precise. And Takigakure was the only village outside the 5 great nations to ever have a Jinchuriki. The Nanabi Jinchuriki, Neji pointed out. Speaking of that, read this bingo. That I picked up from an Iowa black market. He opened up the book to a page that he'd bookmarked. It was Naruto's ninja registration photo from when he was 12. The Kabuki actor 1. Wanted. Uzumaki Naruto, also known as Chopsticks Master of Konoha, Orange Monster, and Blonde Demon of the Leaf. Classification. S rank missing nin. Bounty. 1 billion ryo. Known for starting fight in Iwagakure Hot Spring, attacking Akatsuki member with chopsticks, c. Wanted. Section, persuading Kunoichi of Takigakure to run away. Hometown. Motives unknown. Traveling with Kumogakure, Iwagakure, and Takigakure ninja. If seen, do not approach carelessly. Chopsticks are known to have caused serious damage. Alert authorities of Iwagakure, Kumogakure, and Takigakure. Immediately. Well, wasn't that great? It was just as Tsunade-sama feared. Team Kakashi and Shizune, I need you all to do me a favor, Tsunade said. Sort through all of this mail, and mark which ones are about Naruto, and which ones aren't. In ones that are about Naruto, check if anyone has mentioned anything about calling a meeting or summit or whatever. Then keep those in a separate pile. Yes, Tsunade-sama, they chorused, staring nervously at the massive mountain of paperwork sitting on the desk. Well, bye, Tsunade-sama said. The door slammed shut. Why are we being asked to do the Hokage's paperwork? Asked Sai. Was Danzo-sama correct about her being an incompetent village administrator? No. She's very stressed. And just wants to take a short break. Shizune stared worriedly at the door. Who wouldn't be, in her situation? The five began sorting through the piles and piles of paperwork. It was like a paperwork blizzard had dropped 6 feet of paperwork snow onto Tsunade's desk. All of it was then a week old. Chopsticks master of Konoha. Yamato sorted it into the Naruto pile. Orange monster. Kakashi added that one to the growing mountain. Blonde demon of the leaf. Sakura's hands were twitching dangerously. Angry letters from the Raikage, Tsuchikage, and Takigakure village leader, making unfounded accusations towards Tsunade-sama. Shizune was turning paler and paler. What had Naruto gone and done? Sai looked up. Are those cute nicknames that I can use when I meet your teammate, Naruto-kun? Sai.